Welcome to Thrive, where I believe you were not created to survive, but to thrive. And if you change yourself, you can change your world. My name is Alex Sagat, and welcome to the Thrive family. If you're watching for the first time, me and my wife, Diana, get to pastor an incredible church here in South Florida called Calvary. And we're glad you're checking out this channel today. Thrive is all about life, leadership, and lifestyles. We're going to talk about faith. We're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about different things in our life. We have guests sometimes, and other times it's a short podcast like this to help us in our leadership. Anything that I learn, I want to be faithful to pass it on. I want to thank everybody for their subscriptions, for their comments, for sharing. Once again, thank you to our Thrive family. This channel continues to grow because of people like you. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now. Today, wherever you're watching, got a short episode about corrections in leadership. Corrections in leadership. What can we do? The thought behind this is, what can we do as leaders when we want to get better? Little small corrections that I've learned along the way or have heard from people that have helped me. So today, whether you're driving at the gym, in the kitchen, wherever you're at, I want to give you just 7 small corrections that you can do to help you become a better leader. It's helped me. And I think one of the things we always have to remember, if we want to be leaders who thrive, is that we need corrections along the way. If you have an arrival mentality, if you think you've already arrived and you're the best leader that you can ever be, then I think you won't be a leader who thrives much longer. But a leader that continues to grow, correct the path, correct the trajectory, you're always going to continue to strive, thrive, and get better. So today, 7 quick things that can help us in our leadership as we make corrections. The first one, a very simple one, we need to stop to start. Stop to start. I heard this years ago, and it helped me so much. I think as leaders, there's so many times where we are so ambitious and we want to do a million things. But one of the most powerful things that you can do, number one, is stop. Stop certain things that are not being fruitful in your leadership role, that are not helping you in what your real vision is. Stop so that you can start. What can you stop today? Maybe there's some things that are wasting your time. Maybe today there's some meetings you need to stop attending so that you can start doing something else. Several years ago, as I decided to get more serious about writing my first book, I thank God that I had a team now that I can rely on. There was like 2 meetings I remember that I used to go to every week. And as our church started to expand and grow and our plates got more full, I relied more on one of our team members to go to that meeting and then come back with some thoughts for me. That helped me, but I needed to stop. You can't keep being part of everything. You can't keep doing everything. That's just a small example. But today, what do you need to stop so that you can start doing all that God has called you to do? If you want to be a leader who thrives, there's some things you need to stop. Stop wasting time on certain things. Stop maybe going through A through Z in your company. Start raising some leaders. Start entrusting people around you. Start delegating certain roles to other people. You will grow more when you let go of control more. You will grow more when you let go of control more. So if you want some corrections in leadership, that's a very simple one that helped me, is stop to start. Number 2, make love the measure. Make love the measure. Again, I'm speaking about in our church context. We are faith people. We lead a church. Make love the measure. So many times we measure people and we measure things by numbers, analytics, and all that. That's great. But I think if we make love the measure, our leadership role and people's leadership roles will go much further. One of the mistakes I think we've done is that we give people opportunity just based on talent, or give people opportunity or a platform just based on a special gifting they may have. And what we've learned over time is that I'd rather see how loving this person is. I'm going to make a love the measure. How much do they love God? How much do they love the church? How much do they love what we're about? How much do they love the vision? I'm going to make love the measure. And so I want to correct on some leadership. It's not just about how I teach. It's not just about how our church has grown. Do I continue to love people the way I loved, or do I love them more? Make love the measure. If you're a leader, if you want to be a good, successful leader, be a leader who measures yourself by love. Do I love my wife the same way I used to or more? Am I loving my kids? Make love the measure. If you want to be a leader who thrives, make love your ultimate goal. I'm gonna make love the basis of what I do, how I do things, because I love the company. I love the organization. I love the vision. If you make those corrections, I know you're worried about budgets. I know you're worried about numbers. I know you're worried about analytics. I think all of us have an eye on all of those things if we lead any kind of a successful organization, but make love the foundation. I want to love my employees. I want to love my employer. I want to love my coworkers. I want to love my family. If love is part of that foundation, you're going to have a lot more success. So start correcting. Man, I've been looking at numbers too much. I've been looking at whatever you got to just correct it. I want to love people better. People can sense that, and you'll be able to thrive. Number 3, be before you do. Be before you do. I think we can talk a big game. Leaders, I've met a lot of leaders, sat down with a lot of leaders, and learned from a lot of leaders. Everybody can talk, but not a lot of people walk the walk. I'll say that one more time. A lot of people can talk the talk. Not a lot of people can walk the walk. I think we want to be good leaders that thrive. One of the corrections is be before you do. Be before you do. Meaning, what is that culture that you're trying to establish in your company? Be the culture. I'll never forget, Pastor Brian Houston said, you got to be the culture. It's not just setting the tone of the company. You got to be that. You got to be that. You got to become that which you want to see. Yes, I know you want to excel in leadership. I know you want to have 3, 4, 5 different companies. I know you want this X, Y, or Z, but you need to become ingrained in that. You need to live this thing out. Become the culture of your company. Become the culture of your corporation. Embody that which you want to see. Then you can go off and do all that you want to do, but it's already ingrained in you. I am what I want to see in my company. I am what I want to see in my family. I am what I want to see in my corporation. I am what I want to see in my church. I am what I want to see in my community. I just don't go off and do things and just talk. I am. I walk this thing out. So start correcting that. Start looking, self-examine yourself and say, am I really walking this thing out, or am I just saying things? You want to make sure you are. Number 4, humble yourself by continual learning. We're talking about corrections and leadership. One of the things that I've seen and learned myself from leaders who have not had a whole lot of success is they had a rival mentality. They stopped learning. I've even seen leaders be dismissive of team members around them. And when you notice that, when you see that, that's the beginning of the end of their leadership. And I've seen that over and over and over again. I've been in church for a long, long time. I've been in different organizations, different businesses. I've sat in a lot of tables. And I've noticed that when a person gets a sense of pride, bad pride, I'm not talking about good pride, a sense of arrogance, a sense of I don't got to listen to my team members, their leadership days are numbered. Always humble yourself. This is a good correction to have in leadership. I want to learn from my team. There are some people at the table with me that probably know way more than me, that have a better solution than me. I'm not listening to everything everybody does or do everything everybody says, but I want to learn. I'm not the only one that comes up with solutions. And so if you want to be a leader that continues to thrive, you got to listen to the team around you. What are they telling you? What are they pointing out? Maybe there's something that you're not seeing, but humble yourself. Humility and leadership will take you so much more than arrogance and pride. Again, today, very simple podcast. What are some things that we can correct as leaders? I would say this is a major one. Stay humble. Stay humble. Stay humble. Stay low. I don't know everything. I'm still learning. I want to continue to learn. I'm still going to seminars. I'm still going to conferences. I'm still sitting around other pastors, leaders that are no way more than me, that have gone, 40, 50, 60 years. I'm just getting started. I want to learn. And hopefully 30 years from now, I'm still saying the same thing. I want to continue to learn. There's always new methods. There's always a new technology. There's always new way of doing things. Be a learner. So humble yourself. Number 5, celebrate the big wins. Celebrate the big wins. I would say maybe overall celebrate the wins. What do I mean by that? I've noticed that there's leaders who don't celebrate anything. They're very, very focused, and I get that. But I think if you don't celebrate the wins, life will go by, years will go by, team members will come and go, and you won't create memorable moments in your organization or in your family, and your leadership will not have a lasting effect. I think if you celebrate certain moments as a staff, as a team, we're really big on celebration. We're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate people. We're going to celebrate milestones. We're going to celebrate every win that we can think of. By God's grace and mercy, we have the family that we do, the church that we do, the team that we do, the staff that we do. Celebrate along the way. That's something we started doing several years ago, and it just changed our church staff. It changed our culture. We want to celebrate the wins across the board. And so that's something that you can correct in your leadership role. Maybe you haven't celebrated a spouse recently, something that they did or do. Maybe you haven't celebrated a mom or a dad in your life. Celebrate them. They've honored you by taking care of you. Now honor them. Maybe you haven't celebrated your kids. They've come a long way, and you're just looking at all the frustrating things. Maybe you haven't celebrated employees or employers. Celebrate. It goes a long way in leadership. Number 6, practice spiritual disciplines. For us, in our church world, where we're coming from, in our church, as we do spiritual disciplines, that corrects our leadership role. As we go back to prayer, as we go back to fasting, as we go back to reading our word, as we go back to just being in God's presence, as we practice love and forgiveness and kindness, as we practice these spiritual disciplines, it corrects us in our leadership. And so maybe today you're watching, you're not a believer, you're not a follower of Jesus Christ. I would invite you to get to know this Jesus, get to know this God, because as you put spiritual principles in your leadership role, I'm telling you, you'll become a better leader. The word of God is absolutely true. It is infallible, immovable. And as we put these spiritual principles and disciplines into our life, it brings correction into our leadership path, into our leadership trajectory, and you'll go much further than you could ever imagine. And then number 7, care for each other. This is something to bring into our leadership roles. Can you care for your spouse? Can you care for your kids? This goes more than just celebrating, caring for them, serving them. I've seen leaders that stop caring about the people they lead. I've seen leaders stop caring about certain things in their organization. I've seen leaders stop caring about people's feelings, people's emotions. I'm not saying we cater, and I'm not saying you baby people. What I'm saying is you care. You're a leader who truly cares. I want you to hear my heart. I'm not into babying people. I'm not into raising victims. I'm not into any of that. What I'm saying is I care about people's thoughts. I care. I'm not a people pleaser. And so I think there's a fine line there that you need to walk as a good leader, but you care for people. Don't be that leader that doesn't care about nobody. Don't be that leader that doesn't care how many toes you stepped on, how many bodies you left behind you, people that left the company mad, upset. After a while, you're not going to lead nobody. Bring some correction into your leadership today, whether you're leading a home, you're leading a small family, you're leading a company, an organization, or like me, a church. If you care, it goes a long way. Let's do some corrections along the way. Ultimately, the basis of this podcast, I would say, the main theme of this podcast today is always correct leadership. Always have some moments where you correct. Wait, I can adjust here. Wait, I can fix here. I'm not there yet. It all goes back to that. And as you make adjustments, you'll become a better leader. You'll become a leader who thrives. Today, wherever you're from, maybe you have some questions. I want you to leave us some questions on the podcast. I want you to leave us some questions on the YouTube. I want you to DM us some questions. How can I get better as a husband, as a wife, as a mother, as a father, as a son, as a daughter, as a CEO, CFO, COO, maybe just as a team player? How can I get better? You can lead no matter what your position or title is. Bring some corrections into your life. And as you correct along the way, your leadership will grow, your influence will grow, and you'll be a leader who thrives. Because if you can change yourself, you can change your world.